Greetings everyone, it's Kaz here. So it's official, Mass Effect Andromeda reviews have dropped ahead of the game's very imminent release. Thoughts appear to be relatively mixed at this stage. So as per usual with these big releases as of now, I will be doing a review roundup for Mass Effect Andromeda. Let's take a look at what the big major outlets in our industry seem to think for Mass Effect Andromeda. And as a whole, there's not a lot of people going super negative with it, but at the same time, there's no one going positive. It's in this weird kind of middle ground stage and area where everyone seems to think it's just good to okay, which is obviously pretty damn underwhelming considering the standards that you would expect, of course, from BioWare, one of the most decorated developers in our industry in terms of creating really top quality RPGs. And of course, the fact that this is the latest reboot, I guess you could call it, for the Mass Effect series that is beloved by so many gamers out there. It is such a huge franchise, and for it to launch in this kind of mediocre kind of state is a little bit of a letdown for sure. To say it in the most simplest terms, it appears to have not quite met the hype that was surrounding it. And unlike a situation like No Man's Sky, Mass Effect Andromeda's level of hype seems to be relatively reasonable from what I've seen of it in terms of expectations for what you'd set for BioWare and a series like this. So let's get into the reviews. Dan Stapleton over at IGN.com gave Andromeda a 7.7, saying it is good. It's an expansive action role-playing game with a few great moments that recapture the high points of the landmark trilogy that came before it, and energetic combat and fantastic sound effects contribute to a potent sci-fi atmosphere. Without consistently strong writing or a breakout star in its cast to carry it through the long hours and empty spaces, however, disappointments like a lack of new race, no companion customization, and major performance problems and bugs do take their toll. I've seen so many people seemingly freaking out or reacting overly negative to a 7.7. It literally says in big bold writing, good. 7.7 is a good score on the IGN scale and on essentially every major outlet scale. Not everything has to be an 8, a 9, or a 10 out of 10 for it to be considered playable. GameSpot gave the game a 6 out of 10, calling it a fair experience. They commend the game for its breathtaking world to discover and explore, fun frenzied combat with plenty of powers to choose from, and narrative framing creates stakes for your success. The negatives are dull wooden characters and dialogue, too many fetch quests, not enough major decisions, and minor but pervasive technical issues. This is another thing that I've seen popping up a lot as well, is the technical issues and the minor graphical stuff going on with this game, of course with the very common facial animation controversy. I've seen a lot that this game just isn't quite up to a 2017 next-gen PS4, Xbox One standard. It kind of does remind me of Fallout 4 in the way it was very graphically underwhelming, and a lot of the bugs that it possessed were really unacceptable for a game that came out in this generation. Destructoid.com gave the game a 6.5 out of 10, saying it is alright, and that it is slightly above average or simply inoffensive. Fans of the genre should enjoy this game, but a fair few will be left unfulfilled. Polygon gave the game a 7.5 out of 10, as the reviewer stated, after a number of complaints it might seem odd to end on such a positive note. Let's be clear, I'm conflicted about Mass Effect Andromeda. There's a lot of roughness throughout the game, and the technical issues, while not game breaking, are often incredibly distracting. PC Gamer gave the game an 80 out of 100, which is the highest score out of all the reviews I'm rounding up today, and they stated, marred by inconsistency and in need of a polished pass, this vast new sci-fi frontier nonetheless rewards dedicated exploration. The actual moment-to-moment gameplay does seem relatively promising for an RPG. It's just that story, just that dialogue, and just those technical issues that do seem to be holding it back at this time. So overall, right now, Mass Effect Andromeda on Metacritic has a total Metascore of 78 out of 100, which is a very respectable score. It's a perfectly great score, and if you've been looking forward to Mass Effect Andromeda, it looks like it's totally fine, and it looks like you'll seem to have a lot of fun with it. At least I hope so. As for me, I am probably not going to be picking up Mass Effect Andromeda. I was interested in it before. I've never played a Mass Effect game before, and I was actually going to make a video about me discussing how tempted I was to dive into the universe with Andromeda, considering it's a reboot of sorts. But after these reviews, and don't get me wrong, I understand they're not negative as I've been emphasizing throughout this video, but they weren't quite what I was hoping for, and of course I've got to get Horizon eventually as well. So for me, I don't think the game got the scores I was hoping for to warrant me picking the game up, but I digress. What do you all think of Mass Effect Andromeda's reviews. Are you still interested in the game? Were you interested in the first place? Make sure you let me know in the comment section below. I'd love some discussion going on down there as per usual. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and do check out some of my other content. But that's enough from me. Thank you all very much for watching today's video. I'll see you all next time. Farewell.